Members, I rise in support of SB 156, dealing with broadband. I want to thank my colleagues for your conversations. I want to thank the speaker, our speaker, also his entire staff. I've been on the calls working with so many other my colleagues in terms of trying to provide input in terms of how to get this broadband bill, trailer bill right. Many of you may know that I authored Assembly Bill 1425 dealing with connectivity, dealing with public subsidized housing. This trailer bill is not a perfect bill. It would be perfect if we include and not forget those who live in public subsidized housing. This weekend, or last weekend, I had an opportunity to walk for public subsidized housing in my district. Some of those of Nickerson Gardens, Jordan Downs, Imperial Courts, and Gonzac Village. Those particular houses were built in a time where they have center block walls. What does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can't penetrate. You can't even put a picture on the wall with a nail because the walls are made out of concrete. So to have any kind of signals to come in there is impossible. And so there was kids who, we talk about distance learning. Well, there was no distance learning in the projects. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't call them the projects anymore. They're called housing developments. Let me be politically correct. Kids were not doing any distance learning because they had no ability to do it, because they had no internet. There was no connectivity to the internet access whatsoever in those housing developments in which I represent. And that's the same for those in East Los Angeles, across the state of California. 40% of Californians is not connected. So we're really talking about two Californians. We're talking about a California that is connected to the privilege and one that is not connected and disenfranchised. And that's the problem, that we cannot forget about the least of these. And the least of these, I represent the 6th poorest district in the state of California. And I would simply say that my constituencies are part of that least of these, the underserved community. So we labored over the weekend to try to hammer out some language. I think we fell a little short when it comes down to, yes, we talk about low-income residents, but low-income residents, what's about the people who live in public subsidized housing? I need to make sure I cannot stand on this floor and represent my community if I don't raise their voices. There were kids who were following me on last weekend, Saturday, where they would normally be playing with other kids. They were with me passing out literature about 1425 because they want to have connectivity to the broadband service. And we do our communities unjust if, in fact, we don't make sure that those individuals are not left out. They have to be part of the conversation, or we're not doing a job. I'm not doing my job if I don't raise my voice in my microphone to speak on behalf of those people, the people that I stand on shoulder that gave me the opportunity to be here. And so I raise that voice and to raise a conscious level with each and every one of you. Our work is not done yet. We still have to hammer out the work. And I want to thank my colleague from Coachella for being a drum major for justice, to making sure that even if we pass this trailer bill today, that there's still work to be done in this space. I'm going to support this because it's the right thing to do, because it supports the rural communities. It doesn't make sense for people to drive 10 miles from where they live in a rural community to try to find some connectivity. That doesn't make sense to me. We live in the fifth world economy, and we have to get it right. We have to make sure that the policies that we put forth on this floor includes the least of these. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.